Hello, welcome to this video, welcome to my art studio. Today I thought I would talk about creative refueling because at this time of year I always feel the need to nurture and tend to my creativity, to do things that fill up my creative cup rather than pour from my creative cup. So my creative rhythm and flow tends to be that in the summer I expect a lot less of myself. I don't produce as much stuff on deadline or do as much client work, and so I try and build into my day and my business a little bit more spaciousness so I can do the things that really fulfill and refuel my creativity. And one of the wonderful things that I love to do is to spend a bit of time in nature, going for walks, slowing down enough to notice beautiful details. So today I thought I'd take you on a bit of a nature walk. Here where I live in Hastings, we're on the coast. You can basically head out of town either way and hit some really lovely coastal paths that are just stunning. So I thought I'd take you with me as I go on some of these little nature walks and then talk about how I'm intending to use some of the things that I find on these walks in my own creative practice. So I've started on some new paintings. They're at that stage where I don't want to show anyone, but I will. Just some paintings on paper. I've sort of done the underpainting of 4 paintings that I think, although they're very abstract, I think they read as sort of seascapes, don't they? I always think that if we spend time looking, absorbing shapes, ideas, motifs, textures, colours, they come out in our paintings, don't they? So these paintings are not finished in any way, but I've probably got about 2 or 3 layers of paint on there. So I've had 2 or 3 sort of short painting sessions to build up what I think is an interesting, rich and varied background inspired by my coastal walks. So these paintings are nowhere near finished, but I think you can see that some of the inspiration from looking out to sea has sort of come out in the beginnings of these paintings. Now, the starting point for these paintings, the colour reference, actually came from my sketchbook from a few years ago. This is a sketchbook from 2023, and there were some of these colour sort of conversations and combinations in these pages here that inspired the colour palette for this series of paintings I'm working on at the moment. And how I want to develop these paintings next is really I want to add in some floral or some plant shapes or some botanic shapes, some foliage shapes. I was really interested in looking out to sea through the natural forms. That's what I think I want to add in now, some plants or some plant shapes. And I think to do that, I need to go back out and do a bit of drawing, gather some more data, do a bit of research, and so I can develop the sort of shapes that I want to add in next. That is my plan, to head back out to the beach and just do a little drawing, gathering some plant shapes and references. So I'm back from drawing outside and I thought I would show you what I took with me and what I created. I took this pencil case which had a whole selection of coloured pencils and pens, but actually what I ended up using was my pencil sharpener and 2 pencils. Really quite a streamlined art kit for being outside. I started using this Mars Lumograph 8B pencil, so just a simple dark soft pencil. I swapped to this 14B matte pencil from Faber-Castell. It's called a Pit Graphite Matte. Several of you have kindly recommended this pencil to me and you said I'd love it, and you were all correct. I really enjoy its kind of deep, rich, inky texture, and so I just used these 2 pencils when I was out drawing. When I'm out drawing, I often will simplify the kit I'm using. I find it stressful to take loads and loads of paint and easels and things when I'm out collecting information and drawing in nature. So I try and lower the stakes. I took my sketchbook and I didn't draw in it. I didn't draw anything in my sketchbook. I lent on it. And the reason I did that is because sometimes when I'm drawing outside, I can feel like it's a bit of a performance. And I know that if I bring that energy to my drawing, A, I won't enjoy it, and B, I won't draw anything that I like. So I am always keen to lower the stakes, lower the pressure, acknowledge that I don't have to create anything of any meaning or significance when I'm out drawing. I tend to take scraps of paper that have got sort of bits of old experiments on, things that don't mean very much, and use those as my starting point. This was a piece of paper that just had some acrylic paint on it. I think it might have been from a demonstration from one of my classes, and I thought it'd be good to draw over. So I'm just sort of taking interesting pages or pages that have got oddments and something on already. So I might often create a little 1-page sketchbook to take with me. I just want drawing outside to feel really relaxed, and there is something about sitting down in front of a view with a sketchbook that feels like a performance. I do things to make it more playful, and one of the things that I do is draw on little kind of scraps or offcuts or pages that have already got bits on. So I took a whole little pile of things with me. I didn't draw on all of them. It was quite hot out there, so I only spent a little bit of time. But you see, that's the kind of thing that I might take with me, an old piece of cardboard or something that's got some brush marks already on it, and then I'll draw over that. And I just find that, for me, more playful and generative. And you'll see that I got really into these seed heads from sea kale, which were growing on the coastline. And there's something about the dots and the silhouettes and the patterns that I just loved. And so this was the main drawing I did, and I really enjoyed just unpacking and exploring the different shapes and patterns. In these videos, I try and share what I'm up to in my own art making, the things I'm thinking about in terms of my own creativity, in the hope that it might give you some ideas or some thoughts that you can apply to your own creative life. So I've just been looking at what I created when I was drawing on the beach and thinking about how I can translate those drawings, those ideas, the things that are percolating around in my head, and apply them to these paintings. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm really going to honour my craving for slowness and spaciousness in my creativity, and I'm just going to let these paintings develop at a pace where I'm not forcing or pushing. So I could work on these paintings for weeks. I'm just going to think about each manoeuvre and see where they go. What I'm actually thinking at the moment is I really like this sort of cream wash in the background of this piece of paper that had paint on it that I took with me to the beach. And I'm just wondering if I take one of these paintings and add a lovely kind of cream wash to the sky so that what's underneath peeks through. I will share what I do with these paintings and where they go. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching and all the lovely comments. I'm always just so touched and delighted by the things that people say. So thank you.